Network with your host, Sean Myrie. Today, we got a special one for you. More news, A lot of people like that ratchet stuff, they like controversy. I'm talking about, right, the triple threat match, meaning media. The triple threat match I'm talking about is Adam 22, Wack 100, and the one and only Akademiks, right? Cannot deny it. Akademiks, whenever he talks about a story, it's amplified. It's very big when he's talking. When you see Adam 22 talking, it's amplified, very big on social media. Even if it's like, stuff was not really that important. And then you got Wack 100, who is good friends or business partners with both these individuals, right? And they're in the hip hop space, the hip hop news, the hip hop media, whatever you want to call it. Now, there's a recent story going on from about a famous hip hop artist that was associated with the G Unit, associated with Dr. Dre. His name is The Game. The Game. A couple years ago, he had a reality show, or there was a reality show he was on, and there was an individual that claims that she was sexually assaulted from The Game, and that resulted in The Game. People are covering this. That's what I'm talking about. The triple threat. These three guys are talking about this right now. This resulted in The Game getting sued, right? For his estate, his money, you know, his royalties. So recently, a judge had a judgment of awarding his estate to the victim, right? This because um, earlier, maybe a year or so ago, he did not show up to a hearing regarding this case. He did not take it serious. So the judge, that's disrespect in front of the judge, and the judge awarded this lady a lot of stuff, right? I think her name is Priscilla. Correct me if I'm wrong. But why I'm talking about The Game is because The Game is associated with Wack 100, right? Wack 100, who's in a lot of controversy right now with the loose cannon situation and with the big U and this indictment. Everybody's talking about it. But now it's The Game. So I don't know if this is rumor or fact that um, Wack 100 has ownership of The Game's property. So now that's another whole big story. How is that going to go if he has the rights to Game's property, right? So you got Akademiks talking about this. You got Adam 22 recently talking about this. The Game's a great MC, a great artist, a lot of accolades. He's supposed to be coming out with his new album, right? I think it's the documentary 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kanye West was supposed to produce this album. So right now he's in the fire right now, The Game. And Wack 100 is in the headlines too because his name is coming up, saying people are mentioning that he owns that house, which is worth about 7 million. I swear they say 7 million. Things keep changing up and down the place, right? But that's one story I'll get back to with The Game and Wack 100. Right now, the triple threat is Wack 100, Akademiks, and Adam 22. They're all together. All three of these guys are together, right? And whenever they want to amplify a story, they can. They can make a lot of people look crazy. Even if you think you can try to make them look crazy, you better have the machine like these guys. His Akademiks gets millions of views, right? Adam 22 gets millions of views, right? Wack 100, he gets probably the millions of views too because he's in the algorithm with them, right? Bless up. Subscribe, share the live, right? Yeah, Wack 100, you can hate him all you want. You could call him all types of names, but he has connections. In the game of media, it's connections. And he got big connections. You see my Vlad. right? You see him on a lot of things, but he does things certain ways a lot of people don't like, but when people are against him, he knows how to fight back, right? With this whole loose cannon thing, which is exploding now, it's loose cannon against Wack 100, Wack 100 against loose cannon. This is crazy. People's wives are being talked about. Things are getting exposed. People are talking about paperwork, right? And this is not stopping. But I'm seeing Loose Cannon's so-called real wife, Gigi. That's her name. I've been watching some of her pods recently. She's talking a lot of stuff. She's trying to expose a lot of things. I don't know if it's fact or fiction, but she claims it's facts. Seen her on a popular platform. See, this is what she done. She was on Tasha K. She was on Tasha K. That lady is famous to expose things a lot. She's very big in that space. And Loose Cannon's wife, if you want to call it, right, Gigi, she was on that show talking a lot of things. See, what's not good with the social media for certain individuals, maybe some people might not care, but if you have dirt or if you have a background what is not too popular, you don't want to be on social media, especially in a conflict, because a lot of your dirt or things you don't want people to know about will come up on here and people will judge you by that. Bless up. Uh, a lot of people are in this whole situation. Wack 100, Adam 22, they're together. Akademiks, they're together. All of those guys are together. What you saying? Bless up, L. Yep. All these guys are all together. They're friends, right? Business friends. Maybe not close friends, but business friends. And they will control the narrative. So other people who want to talk against them, they can't go through Ack or like any of them because they're all together. I know how this works in the media space. I know how this works. Been doing it for 6 years, right? Um, when you have beef and you're trying to do content, right? It's not a good thing, right? Like what content to me is something most of the time people want to say this shouldn't involve personal feelings. You should never make it get personal. To me, that's not content. To me, that's not content, personal stuff. That's not really content, right? Especially if these people are not public figures. If they're not public figures, it's not really content. Once you start bringing people's personal business into this, it's something else. You could be breaking the law too. But right now, you see Akademiks talking about the game. You see Adam 22 talking about the game. But one thing, the game, and Wack 100, he's not really talking. I notice, but he's linked to both of them because in the game situation, the game, his property is in the name of Wack 100. So now that's a whole new story. What's gonna come up because Wack 100 owns that property that the judge, right, awarded to the lady that claimed she was abused by the game, right? And he has to give it up. He has to give it up. Cannot hide from this. Well, let me backtrack. Does he have to give it up? Because Wack 100 owns that, right? So does he have to give it up? Wack 100, they're claiming, owns the game's property. So right now, that's a hot story. Akademiks is talking about it. He was told by Wack 100 not to talk about the indictment anymore involving Loose Cannon, the guy who's in beef with. He was Adam 22, I'm guessing, was told the same thing, right? Because they're bringing up Wack 100's name, and I'm hearing that Wack has a contract with Adam 22. So if he has a contract with Adam 22, he already played chess. He played the game. If he has a contract, he's not going to break that contract. So he's not, you get what I mean? Adam 22, he's not going to break the contract if he has a contract. Meaning they're going to have agreements. So unless it really explodes into another story, you're not going to see Adam talking about it. He's going to have to beg Wack to talk about it. You're not going to see Akademiks talking about it. He's going to have to beg him. So the only ones you're going to see talking about it is the smaller content makers. And how small? Because even the so-called smaller ones, smaller than all those guys, right? People will watch. Believe me, it's all over. But it's still not going to do an impact if you're not on someone like I said, that girl Gigi. She was on Tasha K's platform, right? With face to face, not phone. Like I mentioned in one of my episodes, face to face, not a phone, either in the studio or face to face. It's different. You get a different algorithm when people actually see the person, right, talking. So she got one up, I'm sorry, on loose right now. Because going on that woman's platform, talking dirt, it could be fake or it could be real. But talking dirt on that woman's platform amplified it. That is not a good look, right? And I'm hearing she has pictures, videos, and stuff. She brought his friend from a long time on her platform, Gigi, I'm talking about. She brought Loose Cannon's friend from a long time on the platform, right? Luce's girl is fighting for him at the same time. They're making content from the jailhouse phone. Wack 100 was spotlighting it. He told, like I said, he told the other two not to talk about it. I'm hearing these smaller content makers talk about it a lot, like this guy named Demon Time. He talks about it, but it's still not amplified. It's only to a certain community, right? I see who else? This guy named SBGTV. He loves talking about it, man. And he's not even that big either. He's around, but he's really not that big. So for even Wack to even recognize that guy, that's something, right? He's not that big either. Compton Rick Rock, yeah, he's a little bit bigger. He, like it or not, okay, it's not everything, but the man has 100,000 subscribers. 100,000 subscribers Compton Rick Rock has. But the others, and Compton Rick Rock has probably some type of, connections. But the others, they're like, it's like, there's so much people talking about it. You could go on YouTube right now. There's probably like 50 people or more, if hundreds, if not talking about it in different types of ways. So when you got the triple threat, like Adam 22 had this guy the other day named Unk, a character. I seen this guy Unk on a couple platforms. You should have him more on your platform. He was talking a lot of stuff, man, including talking about Wack. But he was calling out Adam 22, saying he's a Fed and the things what he has done on his show, right? He talked about Wack. I think he might have talked about Ack. He might have talked about him. But this guy Unk is a character, man. He is a character. He's out there. But he does spit some facts. And he called out Adam 22. He was talking about Loose Cannon too. Talking about him out, and not in a good way, right? He was talking about him. And this was on Adam's platform. So this is how I feel it's going to be spinned. Adam won't bring it up, but there's going to be people who comes on his platform that's going to bring it up. That's what's going to happen. He's going to have people who come on his platform to bring up all types of shit. Bless up, hoodlum. He's going to be on all types of platform. Bring all types of people on his platform to talk about it. He won't talk about it, Adam, because he's scared of Wack, or he has a business deal with Wack. Academics, he's not going to talk about it unless a content maker comes or artists and him talk about it. But he hardly interviews anybody anyways. Academics, he talks. He's probably on right now, right? But these guys, all three of them, they like to talk a lot of business, man. A lot of business. And they say it's content. But to me, when it's personal, right? If it's personal, that's not content. That is something else. That's like what you say defamation. When it gets into the personal shit. That's like defamation of character. That could involve even the law enforcement. If people are doing threats back and forth, that can involve that. Right? And it could get worse. It's a situation in situations. I don't know if Wack don't care about that because he's been talking a lot. Not just recently. A long time that man been talking. But other people. He has a list of people. Same thing with academics. Academics been talking a lot from a long time. Right? And Adam 22's been talking a lot from a long time. No one has really called these guys out really to a level where they're canceled, right? Like, put it this way now. This whole thing with this indictment, I'm hearing all type of people talk about it. All type of content makers talk about it. Now, I see the smaller ones doing it. Now, imagine, I would like to see, actually, someone was talking about it, but not too much. It was early. Lord Jamar, right? If he was to talk about Wack, I don't know if they're cool in a certain type of way, Wack would be running more than ever because Lord Jamar has connections in the industry like him and influence, if not more bigger influence than Wack, more respect than Wack, right? He has more respect than Wack, Lord Jamar, right? If he was to talk about Wack, he would get, it would be even amplified. And if he talked about him bad, good luck if Wack was trying to attack him. I seen that man dissect people, right? Who else? Cam from the West Coast, which I don't think he's into none of that shit, really. He's not into that. If Cam wanted to, but I seen him roast people, take them apart. Are you smoking that badge? Me, man, I burned this. This is normal, man. You're new to the channel. Everybody has their devices. Some people drink coffee. Some people eat junk food. I smoke the herbs. But yeah, as I was saying, there's a lot of things going on out there in YouTube, the YouTube streets. And the biggest, I say, in this content game or urban content or hip hop is this whole thing going on with Adam 22. From that whole indictment came because Brick Baby got locked up and Loose Cannon. These guys are, you know, they're popular. They're known. They're known for what they do, right? Especially Brick Baby. Don't hear nothing about Brick Baby right now. But I'm saying, like, for Adam and Act to listen to Wack, that means Wack controls a narrative. He doesn't control everybody, but he controls something with those two individuals, and cannot lie. Those two individuals have influence, a lot of influence, because people are still going on No Jumper. If they really wanted to boycott it, if it was so bad, they wouldn't go on that platform. Good night. You must be on the other side of the world. It's morning time up here. But yeah, please subscribe and follow, right? If he controls those guys in a way, influence those guys, he And I'm not surprised, because how does he's a manager of three individuals I know. Blueface. How did he get to manage Blueface? How did he get to manage the game? How did he get to manage Ray J? What does he have on these guys? Right? What does he have on these three individuals I just mentioned? The game, and he put his house in his name, in Wack 100's name. If that's true. Blueface, right? He's known in social media and a social whatever reality star. How did he get the influence to make that guy? Like, how did he become the manager of Blueface and Ray J? I want to know how he became the manager, right? You know what he's done? Wack 100, influence, influence. That's what it is. It's influence. That's a secret ingredient. Some people don't want to use that because they want to know, who are you influencing? He clearly has a good amount of influence over a lot of people. To be a manager, you have to have influence. Trust me, right? See ya. To be a manager, you have to have influence. To do what he does, to tell certain people to not to listen to him, he has to have influence. So what is it? Mm-hmm. If he's a Fed, if he's an informer, no one likes him, right? I'm hearing a lot of people say, yeah, nobody likes Wack, really. How these individuals make him manage their business? That's what I want to know. Right? And then you got Adam. Unless he probably is scared of Wack in some type of way. He probably heard some stories we don't even know about. Maybe he doesn't want Wack to expose him. He has a show called The Exposers now. The Exposers. Smart to use that name excuse to talk about a lot of people's business. You call it The Exposers. But Wack don't want no one to expose him. People been exposing Wack. Right now they're talking. They're talking about him in the Games story. The rapper. They're saying that you're the man, you're the owner of Games estate. Right? That's what they're saying. They're saying you're the owner of Games estate. So now you're in a other spotlight because they want that money. So how is this gonna turn out? And you're beefing with Loose Cannon too. On top of that, you're beefing with a man in prison, or you want to say he's beefing with you. You're beefing with a man in prison. Bringing up all types of stuff. Vice versa, everybody's talking, but you're beefing with a man in prison, Wack. And then your name is coming up in in a legal way. I don't know if they brought it up in court recently, but you're the owner. And they want that money for the individual that was assaulted from you. I mean, not you, the game. Your artist, because you're the manager. You're the manager of Game. So they want that. They want what Game has, and Game doesn't own it. You own it. So what's gonna happen now? More spotlight on you. Do you want that spotlight? I don't know. But you own the Game's estate, right? And they're looking at you even more. So how is this gonna turn out, man? This whole thing. Even with this beef between Wack and Loose Cannon, right? It's going on weeks now, if anything now. It's gonna be going on for a while now. Before they were cool, and now it seems they ain't cool. You're seeing a lot of people go back and forth. You're seeing girlfriends come out. I mean, if they call themselves ex-wives, whatever, come out and talking a lot of business. See, this is, you know what's not cool, well, what's not good, this is what's really bad. You see, when you're in a situation, right, especially if you're in the public eye, your past could come back to haunt you. I always heard about this. Even my brother, he always said this, like, your past could come back to haunt you or hurt you, because it's like, for example, Trump, when he got elected, they were bringing up his past. Any president who was going to, any person who's trying to become a leader, they try to bring up the dirt or their past so they could smear them, so no one will trust them, so they'll lose the influence, right? So that is what's going on right now. That's what's going on right now. Some people don't look on it things differently, but for me, because I'm on social media too, certain things, especially family, I keep that separate. I keep that separate. You don't even know. You won't even know who my children's name, right? The mother's name, nothing, zero. You're not knowing anything. Unsolved mystery, right? And you know what? Even if you did know, it ain't gonna hurt me, because everybody has a different past. Everybody has different situations, but sometimes some people don't want their past to come up, right? And Wack 100 loves digging up people's past. The other guys love bringing up people's past. They're the triple threat. They're the triple threat, right? If all three of them come on you, I mean, like, they really focus on you, whoa, that's a machine. If all three of them are focusing on you, it's a machine, a big machine, because it's millions of people. It could help you if you don't care, but it could hurt you if you do care, right? It can make you look. They can make you look crazy. This is the media. I don't know if a lot of people understand or overstand the media space. Instagram, YouTube, whatever, Twitter. This is the media. And all those three individuals been doing the media for years. All three of those individuals been doing the media for years. It's not new to them. All three of those individuals, Wack, Ack, and Adam 22, people been dissing them, disrespecting them, calling them rat, calling them feds for years. Obviously, it's not really affecting them in a way that they care. After that bust, or the indictment of all those individuals, they took all those individuals. Adam 22, to me, wasn't sorry. He looked like he was celebrating. Still looked like he's celebrating. And like I mentioned in other parts, this is probably giving him more views, because beef does give you views. So this is what he wants. He wants more attention, right? Ack wants attention all the time. That's why he always has stories. It's nothing really positive. Most of the time when you hear Ack talking, is something positive? Is he talking about any progress? No. What's his name? Adam 22. Is he talking about any progress? No. It's a male soap opera, if you want to call it, or women's, or whatever. Are all these individuals talking about anything really positive, uplifting, besides people's business? Are they talking about anything uplifting? See, I could talk about these guys because they're in the media. They're media personalities. But talking about people who are not really in the media, right? It's kind of a difference. I don't understand that. I know about that, but I don't like, I understand what people are trying to do, because everybody's human, but if you are a media person, right? And I'm talking about like Wack and I don't know if, yeah, Akademiks does it with celebrities, not nobodies, right? Why wasting your time on that? So it makes me wonder now, if Wack is so big, he's big, Wack 100 is so big, and you are focusing on people who are not even known, that might show some guilt. If you are threatened from people who some people say are nobodies and they're not known, that shouldn't affect you. How many celebrities have people bringing up rumors or talking about them and they don't give a damn? They might make the lawyer speak for them, but they don't give a damn. So Wack is responding to people who were not known before this whole beef I'm talking about, indictment. Most, I said it before, most of the people, if this never happened, Big U didn't get arrested, right? Loose Cannon didn't get arrested. Brick Baby didn't get arrested. All these people who are doing content now and getting the views off of this the most would not be getting the views. They would have to talk about something else. But a lot of people like negative shit. And that's what Adam 22 loves. He loves promoting the negative stuff because that's what gets the views, right? And who else likes to talk about this? I would say, of course, the triple threat, Akademiks. And then Wack, he's always talking about shit, especially police work. He's talking about police work the most. He loves talking about it all the time. Wack's bringing up all types of story. He's a private investigator. That's what I think he is. Well, he's a public investigator. He's a PI, like he said. He's a PI. He's a public investigator. He's a PI for sure. He's a public investigator. That's what Wack is. Like I said, I can't blame sometimes these guys to do it, to talk about these things, because it does get the views. It does get the views talking about it. When you talk about controversial shit, right? Other life stuff, politics, which has to deal with money and life, and you start talking about all other things that could affect the world, history, and unraveling it, right? And exposing the people who are the powers that be, really the people who control a lot of things. Some people might get through a little bit, but they don't like that. That is what they block out. That's what people call shadow ban. That is something they don't want to promote in the algorithm. You have to search for it. I'm going to give you an example now, right? Okay. Nation of Islam, Farrakhan. You used to see more of that on the internet or Instagram, him talking to black people, positive stuff, some things controversial. You don't see that anymore, right? Okay. You used to see black upliftment groups. You used to see Black Panthers. You used to see these groups were kind of controversial. The Moors. You used to see the Black Hebrew Israelites. And they were doing this type of pod thing before it was really popular and people knew anything about a pod or content. They were doing content talking about laws, talking about situations, exposing the law. The Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam, all these groups. Now, you know what happened to them? Shadow ban. Because they were informing people, and then now social media got more sensitive and they categorize them as like extremists and stuff. Anybody who has information that is gonna help people, they will block it out, right? A whole bunch of characters, they have done that throughout time, right? Health benefits, teaching you, putting something in your brain, some food in your brain. But a lot of people like the junk food. So now you go to people like Wack 100, Akademiks, he might be on right now, Akademiks, right? For a lot of the stuff, Adam 22 for a lot of the stuff. And there's all these other content makers who are talking about a whole bunch of shit, right? There's a whole bunch of shit going on right now. So this is to show you how people like the mix up, that's what we call it. You will see somebody, for example, now, And sometimes subscribers don't mean shit. With 50,000 subscribers, go on live. And if it is not a subject that is really spicy, I'm just saying, really gonna get the people in, because people like negative stuff, sorry to say, you won't see the views. 50,000 subscribers, I'm saying, example. Now, I've seen it recently. That's why subscribers don't mean nothing. It's a story, right? I seen people with like small accounts, 12,000, if not less, get more traction and views than the people who have 50 or about the same, either about the same or more. So that's to show you the person who has the 50,000 subscribers, if they ain't talking about something what's relevant or more negative and spicy, even if they have a big platform, they're not going to get the views for a while. But if you talk about the stuff what is negative and spicy, oh yes, you talk about people's wives, you talk about people's kids, you talk about people situations, what they've been in, which is more negative. People want to know, oh, so that's really who he is. Oh, they want to know your business. People are just nosy straight up nowadays. You got the phone. Everybody, a lot of people have a phone, so people are just more nosy now. So you got to be careful what you put out there in the universe. You got to be careful. You got to watch out for your battles, what you may face, because you have some media could be deadly. It could be great for promo, but it could be deadly. Like I'm saying, people expose people. Wack has a show called The Exposers, and then you got Akademiks. He exposed a lot of people. He's been exposed too. And then you got Adam 22 talking about a lot of people, and he's been, you know, he's a little different, but he's been exposed. The difference with Adam, he's white, right? And he probably listens to his lawyer. Guarantee that man listens to his lawyer. Trust me. He listens to his lawyer, man. Like, Adam is smart. He wants his name to be out there because his content is on a lot of people's platforms. And you know what he could do? You know what he could do, Adam, if he wants. And Wack, too. I don't know if you want me to give you the gem, what those guys could do. If they want, they could hit each channel what's using no jumper stuff. They could hit each channel with a strike. Even if you use that fair use shit, I guarantee there's a couple people, they're not saying it. They go look up in their YouTube and they're going to look, it says copyright. I guarantee it will say copyright in some of them because I've seen it. That's why I'm not a fan of really, not saying I won't try, but I know the way to do it. I'm not a fan of putting people's media up on our platform. I'm not a fan of it because when they're ready, they could use that against you. I have used it against somebody. Trust me. Use my content, right? And tried to use it to shame, but it was my content. Hit them with a strike. Hit them with another strike. Hit them with so much strikes. If they were to do it, the channel is gone. So like I'm saying, Wack and Adam want the promo. Think of it, because they can use that against a lot of people if they want. There's systems out there to protect your content. There's systems out there to protect your content. A lot of people don't know that. Unless they're so busy and they don't care, you might get away with it. But if they're focusing on certain individuals and you're using their content, they can give you a strike. They can report. If they feel they want to take your shit down and you have them, like their video talking with their face and everything, they can do it. I know people who have done that. They warn people. They can't do it. So Adam and Wack, They want, they must want it up. Even Ack, he must want it up. They want it up because, like I'm saying, after all of this stuff, loose cannon and Wack 100 going back and forth, um, Wack is still releasing content. He's still releasing content, and then he has Adam right with him, right, and Akademiks right with him. Akademiks can't stay on one story though. He has to keep moving. You could only talk about it so much. Yes, I'm talking about it because it's the hot story, but I've done a couple stories on it. Soon, I don't even want to talk about it because I have other content to talk. There's so much other things to talk about than just to talk about the same thing over and over and over again, especially when there's like 20,000 others talking about it, right? And to me, the more you talk, certain parties, the more you talk, the more things come out. So, yo, people, subscribe to the channel, support, and this is the triple threat. Triple threat. Wack 100 Akademiks. Adam 22.